November 1932, and President Hindenburg, having just received a request from Adolf Hitler to be made Chancellor following the Nazi Party's recent success in the elections, was considering his options. Hindenburg was reluctant to grant Hitler the role of Chancellor, and after consideration, he instead chose those closer to him. First, Franz von Papen was appointed as Chancellor on the 1st of June 1932, in the wake of the Nazis' best election to date. However, his appointment only lasted 6 months due to a lack of a party majority, with the Nazis being the largest party in the German parliament, the Reichstag, and the fact that the president of the Reichstag, and also Speaker, was Hermann Göring, who was a prominent Nazi party member, causing him to be unable to form a government. And this caused Papen to step down, triggering another election, which was held in November of 1932. After the results of the November 1932 elections, Hindenburg was still reluctant to grant Hitler the position of Chancellor, and opted to appoint Army General and close advisor Kurt von Schleicher instead. However, little had changed in the Reichstag in the wake of the November elections, and Schleicher's appointment was even worse than Papen's, lasting only 56 days, and as a result, Papen suggested to Hindenburg that they should appoint Hitler to Chancellor, and between them managed to control Hitler and his actions, which were becoming an increasing concern to Hindenburg. Somewhat reluctantly, he agreed to appoint Hitler to the role of Chancellor on the 30th of January 1933. Hitler was now in the perfect position to begin to tighten his grip on German politics. Less than a month later, on the 27th of February, and just 6 days before the next elections were due to be held, the Reichstag building was set on fire. The man convicted of this crime was a Dutch communist, Marinus van der Lubbe. The Nazis were very keen to firmly lay blame for the fire at the communists. The Nazis then used this to persuade Hindenburg to pass the Reichstag Fire Decree, which was based on Article 48, which allowed the President to take emergency powers without Reichstag consent. This decree ended freedom of opinion, freedom of the press, as well as telegraphic and telephonic communications. The Nazis' control of the police meant they were now able to arrest political opponents, mainly the communists, who were subsequently sent to the first concentration camps. Despite van der Lubbe's conviction, it remains disputed who actually set the fire, as some historians speculate that the Nazis may have set the fire themselves in order to blame the communists due to the upcoming March elections. In the March elections, the Nazis won what they needed most, a working majority. They achieved this by forming a coalition with the German National People's Party. This allowed Hitler and the Nazis to take the Reichstag Fire Decree even further, passing the Enabling Act on the 23rd of March 1933. This effectively voted the Reichstag out of power, placing the power into the hands of the cabinet and the Chancellor. And while Hitler was not yet a dictator, the Enabling Act did give him dictatorial powers. The next election was on the 12th of November 1933. And by this time, all other political parties had been banned in the wake of the Enabling Act. Next on the list for Hitler was to maintain order. The SA, Hitler's stormtroopers, had grown to around 20 million men, but they were unruly and violent, and so President Hindenburg requested Hitler for this to be stopped. Furthermore, the leader of the SA, Ernst Röhm, had visions of replacing the German army with the SA. And this meant that Hitler was yet to gain the support of the armed forces, something he desperately needed. This brought about what would become to be known as the Night of the Long Knives. Over the period from the 30th of June to the 2nd of July 1934, Hitler used the SS, or the Schutzstaffel, the Nazis' other paramilitary wing, to brutally and murderously wipe out SA leaders. This opportunity was also used to wipe out opponents such as Kurt von Schleicher and Bavarian politician Gustav Ritter von Kahr, who was instrumental in suppressing the 1923 Beer Hall Putsch. As a result of this period, any remaining SA members were enrolled into the army or the SS, and the roles of the SA were superseded by the SS. SA leader Ernst Röhm, an outspoken homosexual, was arrested and kept in Stadelheim prison, being given only the newspaper and a pistol, an attempt to try and coax him into committing suicide. And when this failed, however, he was shot dead on July the 1st. The brutal success of the Night of the Long Knives wiped out any political opposition, and now Hitler finally had the full support of the military. On the 2nd of August 1934, President Paul von Hindenburg, having been in failing health for some time, died of lung cancer. He had been the only person holding back Hitler in his pursuit of power, and he was now out of the way. And on the 19th of August 1934, Hitler combined his role of Chancellor with that of the now vacant presidency, making himself Fuhrer, meaning simply leader of Germany. Adolf Hitler's long journey to absolute power was now complete. Germany now had a tyrannical dictator with an ever-growing war machine behind him, and with eyes set firmly on returning the fatherland back to his former glories. Europe and the entire globe would now be forced to embark on an epic struggle to defeat Hitler and his Nazi ideology. Soon, the entire world would be at war.
Gib du jetzt deine Stimme ab! Wenn ja, dann tritt für mich ein, so wie ich für dich eingetreten bin!